A very good morning, 8th standard. This is the discussion video of block 15, the making of the national movement. So today we are going to discuss our worksheet, practice question and additional questions of block 15. So get ready with your content book, notebook and the worksheet. So here comes your first S1, Poon Swaraj. First question, list two actions taken by non-Gandhian revolutionary in his struggle for independence. So RSS and Communist Party of India were the two actions, or you can say organization or institution taken by non-Gandhian revolutionaries. Explain how each of the following events led to Purna Swaraj, end of non-cooperation movement. After non-cooperation movement, Gandhiji's followers focused more on making people aware about independence that led to Purna Swaraj. Gandhiji's work in villages. This work in villages helped in spreading the message of Satyagrah at village level, which was important for preparing a mass base for Purna Swaraj. Simon Commission. INC and Muslim League decided to boycott the commission through hunger strikes and black flag. And finally, in Lahore session, INC demanded Purna Swaraj. Given feeling of Indians over the non-cooperation movement and the Simon Commission, predict some action that the Congress might have taken in its struggle against the British. So you can write down your own opinion. I had written that Congress should be united on one opinion and come to one conclusion so that leaders could force British firmly to leave India. Now come to civil disobedience movement. Here comes the first question. How did the Indian leaders react to first round table conference and the second round table conference? First round table conference was boycotted by Congress leaders, Indian leaders. Second round table was failed as Gandhiji refused to accept the demand of British. Now, what was the British reaction to Dandi March? Why was it or the march important? British arrested Gandhiji and his followers. They beat, lathi charged on protesters. And it was important to tell British that they will not tolerate any unnecessary law or act on them. Pick one of the following events and explain whether or not it was effective in helping the Indian get independence from Britain. Support your answer with reasons. So 3 conditions are given. You will write down your own opinion here. Now come to the Quit India movement. Name the events that turned the civil disobedience movement into Quit India movement. The 2 events were the Government of India Act. Second was the World War II. Now, why was the outcome of World War II seen as an opportunity to demand for independence? Britain was a major participant in World War II. When it became victorious with the help of other nations including India, leaders of India asked independence in return. But Britain refused. Describe one challenge faced by Quit India movement was what was one of its success. Quit India movement was tried to crush brutally through many means. And this was the challenge faced by Indians. Second one, in spite of non-violent movement, thousands of the people participated in it and finally got independence. Purna Swaraj, true or false? You can do by your own. What was the motive of British behind sending the Simon Commission to India? The Simon Commission was headed by Sir John Simon, so it was known as Simon Commission. This commission was sent further ensure more control over Indian affairs by the British. The main motive was this. What were some of the disagreements that other activities and leaders had with Gandhiji? Prominent leaders such as Chitranjan Das and Motilal Nehru were critical of Gandhiji's policies and argued that Congress must take part in elections and win as many seats as possible in legislative assembly. What were the grounds for signing the Gandhi-Irwin Pact? Government was under a lots of pressure as Indian stopped paying taxes. To appease the Indians, Viceroy Irwin signed the Gandhi-Irwin Pact in 1931, promising to release political prisoners in return for the suspension of the civil disobedience movement. What was the purpose of Salt March? Dandi March was also known as Salt March because its motive was to resist the salt tax. Why was it important that women participated in civil disobedience movement? What effect did it have on freedom movement? Women's participation strengthened the national movement in different ways. They picketed shops of foreign clothes and liquor, spun khadi yarn, and even served time in prisons equally like men. Without the participation of women in the national movement, it would not have become a mass movement. Write two important events that took place between civil disobedience movement and Quit India movement. So the two events were the Government of India Act 1935 and outbreak of World War II. What were the main objectives of the forward bloc? Subhash Chandra Bose formed the forward bloc on 19th April 1939 to attain Purna Swaraj. Its primary objectives were to intensify the struggle for independence, promote national unity, and to form panchayats from the village to the central level, which would initially help in the struggle for independence and later on serve as units of administration. Do you think Government of India Act 1935 was helpful or a hurdle in the path towards independence? Support your answers with reason. The Government of India Act was helpful in the path towards independence as when the act gave more autonomy to India for provisional election and established an Indian federation. When election had been held, it was clear that Indians wanted to be a democratic country, not ruled by others. Do you think the partition of India was unavoidable? Support your answer with reasons. Yes, the partition became unavoidable because the cabinet mission failed in its mission. The Muslim League and INC were unable to agree on a constitution and came up with a compromise that would keep the country together. Now come to the additional question. What was the main resentment in the Indians had against the Simon Commission? As this was the Simon Commission headed by Sir John Simon, since there were no Indian representatives in the commission, that made Indians very unhappy and turned against Simon Commission. How did Gandhiji's social work in rural areas help him in the civil disobedience movement? Gandhiji's followers took to social work in rural areas after the non-cooperation movement. They focused on the betterment of the deprived section of the society. This helped in spreading the message of satyagrah at the village level, which was important for preparing a mass base for the civil disobedience movement later. Now, why do you think that March to Dandi had such an important impact on independence movement? As you know that Dandi March made people of India determined more focused towards independence. When British arrested Gandhiji and his followers, British lathi charged the people, and after that people felt that the working of the Gandhiji's policy will work later in the future. List some actions taken by British government to appease the Indian leaders. You can write down your own actions. What British British had taken. No, you will not. You can write more actions besides my list. They told that we will make the future constitution. Then they promised to release political prisoners in the return of suspension of civil disobedience movement. They also put further the Government of India Act and participation of Indians in World War in return of independence. These were and many more things were there that British government kept to appease the Indian leaders. Why do you think Britain decided to divide India and Pakistan into two separate countries? British decided to divide the country as League was stubborn to make a new country by dividing it. The League announced 14th August 1946 as a direct action day to show its strength, and many of them followed it. Then riots and killing, threatening of people took place to fulfill the demand. Cabinet mission also failed to compromise in both of the views. Lastly, they all were forced to divide India and Pakistan. In additional question number 3 and question number 6 are repeated, so need not to do those questions again. I hope you understood it. If you do have any problem in any of the questions, please do write me in the comment section. Thank you and have a nice day.